The Last of Us Part 2 release was long awaited since it was announced in its early development stages. But after the release, I found that there were tons of mixed reviews from the gaming community, and they seemed to either love it or hate its guts.
I was.
You got everything?
Yes.
What's up everyone and welcome to a new video. My name is Omar with Real Gamer Review, and today we are taking an in-depth look at The Last of Us Part 2. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and liking the video and turn on the bell icon to watch more videos like this one. Without further ado, let's start this review. Before we get deeper into the technicalities, let me just tell you that I tried my best to avoid any spoilers during this review, and most of the footage shown in this video is from the trailers or very early scenes from the beginning of the game. I've been playing the game since the day of the release, till yesterday when I finally managed to complete the full story. That's about 7 days of on and off play time. Here I'm going to do my best to give you a detailed account of all the important aspects of the game in order to help you make an informed decision of whether you should go ahead with the purchase or not. For the people that might have not played the series before, to sum it up, The Last of Us Part 2 is an action-adventure game set in a post-apocalyptic United States, picking up a few years after The Last of Us Part 1. The Last of Us is developed by Naughty Dog Studios, who are famous for the Uncharted and the Crash Bandicoot series. The game's development started in 2014, soon after the release of The Last of Us Remastered, which is a pretty good game that I would recommend to start with, obviously, if you are new to the franchise. The game was announced in December 2016 officially and was delayed twice. First for further development, and then due to logistics problems due to the ongoing pandemic. All that has contributed to making this a really long wait for those of us who love the franchise. As I mentioned before, The Last of Us Part 2 is an action-adventure survival horror game played from the third-person perspective. You can use firearms, bows, improvised weapons, and stealth to defend against hostile humans who are split into different groups. And of course we have the infected, cannibalistic creatures which vary in strength and types, some of which were seen before in Part 1 but were refined visually in this one. From a gameplay perspective, as well as a few new creatures that were added in this installment. All the aspects of the gameplay were enhanced and evolved when compared to Part 1, but the main essence of the game was kept the same. The killing mechanics and animations are way more advanced compared to Part 1, and you will feel that immediately. One other thing that you will notice is the variety of the weapons is larger than the previous part, and your interaction with the environment and how enemies interacts with you is quite different. The AI used for the enemies here in particular is far more advanced than the previous game, and you will instantly get the feel that they are smarter and you can stay in the same spot for a long time if you are planning a stealth kind of approach. What will make your life even harder are the missions that include dogs, as they can find you by your scent even if you are well hidden. Another addition to the game is the interactive grass, which will be very helpful in the stealth situations as it comes in different heights, and that will determine your stance in order to be hidden between a crouch or a prone position. The ever-useful listen mode is still available in this installment, allowing players to locate enemies through a heightened sense of hearing, indicating enemies as white outlines visible through walls and objects where the intensity differs depending on how far your enemies are from your position. The abilities and weapons upgrades are standing strong in this installment, but with a slightly different and upgraded interface for both, and you get to upgrade them by collecting supplements and scrap throughout the game. This is the tricky part, as this is where all the mixed reviews come in. People either really like the story or hate it. I'll try my best to make it spoiler free, but please bear in mind that I'm expressing my own opinion here as a regular gamer and from an enjoyment level point of view rather than the technicalities and specs. So to sum things up, the story takes place a few years after the end of Part 1 with a 19-year-old Ellie and an older Joel. Both of them settled in the small town Jackson that was introduced back in Part 1. Some events will lead to Ellie leaving town to pursue a certain quest, and that's how the story begins. I won't be able to say more than that for the sake of keeping this spoiler free. For me personally, I actually enjoyed the story. Although the ending was a bit unexpected, but after a while when I kept on thinking about it and processing it, I think what Naughty Dog tried to do here is to create a story that leans a bit more into the human side, which kind of felt like it's a bit more of a dramatic Hollywood style rather than the straightforward gaming story, and probably that is what made a lot of people hate the story or the ending. But as I said before, that is my opinion and maybe other people out there would still hate it. But even though, I would bet that a lot of people would enjoy the story and the game. As far as the graphics go, I would say Naughty Dog did a good job, which aligns with what we are used to from them in most of their games, especially with the Uncharted series and The Last of Us Remastered. Comparing both The Last of Us Remastered and its sequel, I wouldn't say there is a huge difference. But still, there is a decent difference, especially with the face animations, characters' movements, gestures, and the overall environment. A very noticeable upgrade lies in the enemy's characters, animations, and movement, and how Ellie interacts with them and how they react, especially in the fights or the face-to-face confrontations. The environments got a pretty decent upgrade, which you will instantly see with the snow and the grass models and animations, and how Ellie interacts with them and other aspects of the surrounding environment. As you would expect from Naughty Dog games, they did a great job with the music and the audio to keep you engaged on every level and every different situation you are in during the different levels and setups of the campaign.
I have eyes!
Also, the music plays an important role in this part as it somehow connects a few key points in the story during a few cutscenes from the beginning, middle, and the end of the story. So, as a conclusion, and after playing the game for a few days, all the way to the very end, I would say it is a really good game that I definitely enjoyed a lot and I would definitely recommend. But at the end of the day, that is how I see it from my own perspective, that I try to give with full transparency after finishing the game, and as always with all of my game reviews videos. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to watch more videos like this one.